the more I talk about financial things, financial wellness, the more I realize that the more you are in debt, the more you are likely to be a financial slave. So are you a financial slave? Today I'm going to talk about signs that you are most likely a financial slave. So the first thing is you lose sleep. If you can't sleep through the night, if you are constantly having panic attacks because of your finances or because of the lenders who are pursuing you, if you are constantly in a state of alertness and pressure, if your blood pressure is going up and down and all these things, then you're most likely a slave. I'm not saying don't be concerned about money. I'm not saying don't be worried about money. But if it is the major, most important thing that concerns you, and if it is the most likely thing that is going to put you to death because of heart attacks and all these things, then most likely you are a financial slave. You cannot be free because the shackles of financial prison cannot let you go. So you are in a problem. You are a financial slave. If you are struggling to pay your minimum payment, so you took many loans and you're supposed to pay a minimum amount of money that will be able to at least keep you away from the place where you have to pay penalties or you have to incur bad calls and a lot of threats from your lender. If you're struggling to pay that, then you're a financial slave. If you have to borrow from friends to be able to pay these loans and then remain with other debts, then you are a financial slave. Ensure that you do not get to a point where you are struggling every other month to be able to pay down a loan. And that is why most lenders usually have a caveat. They usually give you a loan that you can be that the payments of which every month are not more than a third of the money that you make, because they assume that you live on the next third, you pay your rent and utilities on the next third, and at least you're able to survive. Because anything above a third is going to be something that you're going to struggle with. And that is why I always talk about these things. So do not become a financial slave. If you're becoming a financial slave because of things that do not make value, you take a loan to get a car, then have sleepless nights. You take a loan to get a car, then always have to pack it away because you don't want to park it in your house because auctioneers may come and possess this car. Those are signs of a financial slave. You have to change your behavior because of these lenders. You have to change where you go. You have to keep, again, another sign. You have to keep your phone off when you sleep or when you are attending meeting, because you are constantly being called. You're constantly being threatened. You avoid calls from unknown numbers. You are a financial slave. You have been enslaved by your financial situations. These are the things that always get me stirred, because I do not want people to be desperate. I do not want people to be put in difficult financial situations because of the decisions that they make. And that is why I began this channel, because I do not want people to be in a tight spot financially, because financial stress is one of the biggest killers to most adults, especially who are struggling financially. So the other thing is you have to reschedule payments. You have to change terms on the loans that you have received already. So you have to always negotiate with the bank. You have to always do this because you're in a tight spot. Then you're becoming a financial slave, because remember, every time you have to change terms with the lender, it is going to be terms against you. So if you say, oh, I'm going to pay this loan in 2 years, but then you change and say, oh, I'm going to pay in 3 years, they're likely going to give you a worse off percentage. So this worse off percentage means that you are no longer free to take charge of financial affairs. They are in charge of your financial affairs, and now you have become a financial slave. Ensure that you are in charge of your finances and you actually determine the terms of the finances that you already have, not other people dictating the terms that you must have as regards to the loans that you receive. Of course, this makes it a lot more difficult if you have you cannot take charge of anything. If you cannot make any decisions as regards to finances, that is the next thing. You cannot make any decisions, and whatever they direct you to do is what you have to do. It is the same thing that happens with countries. When a country cannot repay debt, it becomes forced to be able to do certain policies. They might force you to start increasing the interest rates that you charge, or the taxes that you charge your citizens. Start forcing you to give them concession, or give companies concession, companies from their home countries, concessions to mine oil, drill oil and mine minerals, because you have no longer control. So you realize that you have also no control as an individual. You have no control over the financial affairs in your business. You have no control over the assets that you have. You have to co-sign your land to be co-owned with the bank. You have to consign your car to be co-owned with the land. You have no terms. It is no longer yours or under your control, in which case now you're forced, if it is a house or if it is a car, to be able to insure this car with a comprehensive insurance, a much more expensive insurance that you may not have taken before. This is because it is no longer your terms. It is their terms to protect the investment in you. So that is how you become a slave. You have no decision making, you have no power, you have no sleep, you have no good health, you lack sleep, you cannot, because you're a financial slave. And that is what we talk about in this channel. How can we be able to create wealth? How can we be able to create financial certainty? How can we become better financially? I've talked about the topic of financial stress and the signs that you're in financial stress and how you can be able to go about reducing this stress. Check it out, and remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking and what you desire for me to talk about. Thank you, and enjoy your day.